15 years ago, 10 years ago, I wrote what I call a random autobiography that I use in teaching. And it kind of tells in no special order about my life. And then this year I rewrote it. So you're going to hear the first one and the new one. And you'll know more about me than you probably want to know when you're done. I was born in November on tax day at the very beginning of the baby boom. I spent my summers in a logging camp while my friends stayed home and listened to Elvis. The rest of the time I lived in an Idaho Lake resort town where I oogled rich doctors' sons and planned my getaway. For most of my childhood, I fought with, loved, and hated Tammy Shaw and Boots Reynolds, and I don't even know where they are now. I've gained some knowledge. I can tell autumn's approach from the sound of the cricket's evening song. I know children are brave and honest until we teach them to be otherwise. The silence when large snowflakes fall is different than the silence of a fine snowfall. I've heard that difference. And I know when snowflakes are ripe for an outstretched tongue. It's during this third snowfall of winter. John Kennedy died the year I turned 17, and I heard that Texas school children cheered while I cried. In college, I was courted by a Cuban refugee named Ruben Sedano, who didn't care that I was engaged. Once I stood on 4 states at one time in Four Corners, New Mexico. For a while, I worked in the archives at Stanford. My office was a Victorian gentleman's library. To go to work there each day, I walked through it with protesting bodies that burned flags and draft cards. I conceived a son in Albuquerque and delivered him in California. He doesn't hold that against me.
Wrong.
I have watched Navajo Indians falling down drunk in Gallup, New Mexico, and have done nothing to help them. I have driven through the pinto bean capital of the world several times, and I can't remember its name. It's somewhere in Colorado. I got a serious case of chigger bites at Vandeleur National Monument, oblivious, while I gazed at the ruined remains of a people who lived 1,000 years before I was even thought of. I walked along the edges of Five Fingers Lake and dipped a toe in every finger. Skipping rocks on mirror smooth lakes is an art I still haven't mastered, but I'm working on it. I spent the last day of May in 1971 at the Albuquerque Zoo, and early the next morning gave birth to my daughter. 2 margaritas put me under the table once. One summer I was a housemaid for $15 a week plus room and board. They called it good experience. I called it slave labor. One winter I read every book Agatha Christie ever wrote, and I haven't looked at them again. I have sung Heartbreak Hotel to thousands of students, and they'll probably remember that more than anything I ever did in the classroom. My brother made me a snake snare one summer, and I found many slithery beauties and held them in my hands, but somewhere along the way I lost my fearlessness. Now even snakeskin shoes make me shudders. Poems, I've written probably 1,000, and a few of them are good. Leo Grogan was my brother's best friend, but one winter evening, as we stood by the rock fountain in the park, he gave me my first real kiss. Presidents have lied to me on TV, and one even had my phone bugged. The night Robert Kennedy was assassinated, I rocked in my sleep, tried to close the banging gate, find some significance there. I can't. I saw the Pacific Ocean for the first time when I was 21 and knew I had been looking for it all my life. The summer after my father died, I planted 8 score of roses, pink simplicity to ease my pain. His fiddle is silent since he died, and I miss him and the music of his living. Miracles do happen. I've been married for 3 decades to the same man, and he's still my best friend. I've skated on thin ice, and once I walked over a mile in 35-degree below zero weather, but only because I didn't know it was that cold. One year with my family, I followed Chief Joseph's path as he sought and fought for freedom. Soon after that journey, we adopted 3 wild horses and named one for him. Marie Ross was my 5th grade teacher. She taught me to believe in myself, that knowledge is power, and then she empowered me. I teach because of her. Falling stars are rare, but I have wished on 7. I like kisses best when I'm next to a warm fire, but I necked in a snow cave once and thought the experience was wonderful. I best like to breathe air I cannot see, and I love the the changing seasons. I have earned my gray hairs, but I still don't like them. People have praised me, loved me, respected me, hated me, resented me, teased me, used me, confused me, and I have let them. But there have been moments, a few precious moments, when I have known heaven. It is enough.